Well, hello!
Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of my performative male schizo rant. I hope you're all doing well. Last video we discussed the evolution of modern dating culture and how that led to the birth of the performative male. This image right here is pretty much a recap of the last video. I encourage you to watch the recording of the previous lecture or just ask to borrow someone's notes because I do build on top of what we have already discussed and I won't be recapping anything. In today's video, I will be diving into why the performative male works, why it doesn't work. Then I will be making the argument that they are good.
What?
Now I know that sounds bad. But once again, hear me out. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to say before we jump right into it. LOL! The first thing is a brief apology. Throughout all of my videos, especially the ones where I talk about topics like this, I've always made it clear that my words are conclusions that I drew on my own, and you should take them with a grain of, or maybe a lot of salt, actually. Last video, I forgot to make this clear, and for that I apologize. So yeah, I am not an expert at most of the things I share on this channel. However, the second thing I want to address, there are certain things that I discuss in this video that without a doubt will get me labeled as a performative male. Whatever. I assure you I'm not. If I wanted to pick up women, I would go outside. I wouldn't start a YouTube channel. So that's annoying, but that's not what's bothering me. What is bothering me is how this kind of labeling tends to make people jump to conclusions. Don't be so quick to dismiss anybody's perspective in favor of pointing fingers. We're not on Instagram Reels. And if you hear me out this video and you still end up disagreeing, that's completely fine. At least you heard me out. Let's get started.
Man, I got bad bitches at the crib. Fuck you, mean?
Now, we left off last time at the end of a list of dominoes showing how we got to modern dating. And then I said that that led to performative males with no further explanation. Well, the next question is, why does this iteration of performative males work so well? To start, let's remember that the drop in male standards meant that everybody got a boost. Guys who would be in gold get boosted to plat, guys in iron go to silver. You can think of it like a professor curving a test because everybody did so shit on it. Except instead of a professor, it's women putting a curve on men's standards. What does this mean? It means that, unfortunately, women will sadly sometimes get starry-eyed when a man has the most basal traits of being a good person, especially if they have a crush. Oh my god, I'm so in love with Conrad, he literally doesn't cheat. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that behavior got you a gold star on the class chart. Well done, Conrad. You can go ahead and flip your card over to green. Flip it over to green. Jeremiah held the door for me. He's basically Prince Charming. No, Isabel, he's just polite. The fact that just being a good human being is considered a golden trait should be raising a lot more red flags for everybody. And this broken standard is the first reason why performative men excelled. Because while men have always been performative to some degree, this iteration of performative men exceeded expectations. Why? Because there are no expectations. If we very quickly put the current state of the male dating pool in tiers, we have at the bottom way too many manipulative shitter degen men who lowered the bar. And then above that, we have a lot of men in the middle who are like kind of okay. Like maybe they have good hygiene, maybe they're funny. And they're not necessarily malicious, but maybe they have a few things missing. So not bad people. And then we have the very rare excellent men. And I would guess that the distribution kind of looks like this. So we have most people in the middle, and bookending the top and bottom, we have the excellent men and then the super degen shitters. Coincidentally, it also looks like Japan's population pyramid. Anyways, I have no guarantee that this distribution is accurate, by the way. This is just my hypothesis. But, you know, I think the majority of men are not in this category, but I also think the majority of men are not in this category. So, you know. So, let's talk about the excellent man category. Excellent men are men who are truly excellent. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. They tick a lot of boxes, they're smart, kind, emotionally intelligent, they're funny, they make women feel safe, etc, etc, etc. And generally, they're also very nice to look at. Face cards and genetics notwithstanding. Okay, quick tangent. Please shut up, okay? I'm so sick of men saying that their cooked genetics are the reason why women don't want them. And whether or not you're chopped is, spoiler alert, not the only reason that women date men. You're not ugly, you're just a bum, okay? Shut up. I could probably make a whole separate video about how stupid that notion is. And if you're really that worried about looks, you'd be surprised at what the power of a clean haircut and a good outfit can do. Saying that looking good is dependent on your genetics is like saying you can only make good drawings with expensive pens, or that you need the deadliest weapon in order to win fights. John Wick literally
gently caresses
people with pencils. What's your excuse? Anyways, the performative man basically cons his way into the excellent man category, and I'll explain how in a sec. And because the majority of the pool looks like this, these men looked like gods, at least until the patch notes. But performative men go the extra mile beyond just standing out. The true key lies in the types of traits that they take on. Performative men cherry-pick their traits. So, these days, if you ask a straight guy, especially a single straight guy, to make a list of male traits they think are attractive, within that list will inevitably be money, fitness, tall, face card, dick size, and then maybe confidence and dangerous. Now, they might list other traits too, but those 6 to 7 will definitely be there in some capacity. Now, if you ask a straight woman the same question, given that they're not shallow, they might list some of the same things from the man's list, but surprisingly, women will give a drastically different list in terms of priority. You'd be surprised at how many women list things like humor, kindness, good with kids, before they list traits that we associate with Patrick Bateman. This is the whole, like, I don't know if you guys have heard of like that Henry Cavill question or whatever, but allegedly, and I fell for this too a long time ago, but if you ask a straight guy who they think the most attractive male celebrity is, a lot of them will, for whatever reason, name Henry Cavill. And this is because while Henry Cavill is technically handsome, he also has a lot of traits that other men like. You know who women actually find attractive? Timothy Chalamet, Cillian Murphy, specifically in Batman Begins, Tom Holland, Pedro Pascal, not this. So where am I going with this? The point I'm trying to make is that attractive male traits are not a list. They are a spectrum. And that spectrum has these two endpoints. So on the left side, we have A, male traits that men want to have. And on the other side here, we have B, traits that women want men to have. Make sense so far? And on the male side, we also have this section here, and this section represents traits that men often have that women don't like. And finally, similarly on this side, we have traits that women want men to have that men tend to be adverse to.
You have nice skin. Do you do skincare?
Of course. I'm extremely careful.
That's kinda gay.
For you.
Now, this is very important, okay? I don't want you to focus on the traits themselves. Kind of ignore what I've written here, okay? I want you to think about the distribution of traits between these two ends of the spectrum. I'm only writing these examples because I'm trying to put it into perspective what these areas represent. If you want a more concrete visual representation, I can draw you a Venn diagram. So we have this, and you can also see the individual sections here. I've been drawing a Venn diagram since, I don't know. And you can see in both of these graphs, there is a middle section where there is an overlap. And on this overlap, we are going to find traits in men that both men want and women want. So some common ones: fitness, secure career, funny, kindness, ideally. Now, how does all of this relate back to why the performative male was effective? Well, historically, a lot of the traits in men that were deemed attractive came from this side of the spectrum. Again, the Henry Cavill thing. Now, what does the trait distribution for the average man look like today? Well, first, let me show you what men towards the bottom of the barrel look like. The first thing you'll notice is that the red section in this distribution is pretty
big.
And this goes back to what I said in the last video about bad behavior becoming normalized. But you'll also notice that the overlap section in this distribution is very small. What does this represent? It means that very few of the traits that these men are taking on are traits that are favored by women. Now, I'm not saying that this is the average man, okay? But I'm saying that there are a lot of men who have this trait distribution. And this is part of the reason why, again, women's standards of men have dropped. A lot of women are giving up and they are settling for men whose trait distribution looks like this. Because while these guys don't really have all that much that women want, at least they aren't assholes. Now, here's the interesting part. Now I'm going to draw the performative male's trait distribution, or at least the trait distribution they try to have. Now, what is the first thing that you notice? Well, unless you haven't been paying attention, first thing you'll notice is that the entirety of the right side of the spectrum is inside their trait distribution. And that is one of the main selling points of the performative male build.
We take the dating pool, which for years has been held by the manipulative and the untruthful and the misogynistic, and we give it back to you, the women.
And this is why I said performative males masquerade as excellent men. Not only do they bring back high standards, but they bring back high standards for traits that women like. And performative males go above and beyond to maintain this image. Now, reason number 3, mimicry. So copying someone's mannerisms, habits, and interests is one of the easiest ways to gain rapport with someone immediately. In addition to choosing very, very specific traits, they also choose a lot of tangible traits that mimic women. And we as humans are attracted to things that are similar to us. And this is why so many of the things, their views, to their fashion, to the things they're interested in, a lot of them are underlyingly feminine to a degree. Handheld shoulder bags, cropped shirts, feminist literature, certain drink products, women-coded music artists. These are all things that women participate in. Conversely, this is why non-performative straight men look down on performative males. Because not only are they not relatable, but if there's a man who exhibits feminine traits or interests and he is not gay, it is often seen as weak or spineless. And that's the stuff in the red category here. Traits that women like to see in men that men don't like to have. So yeah, those are the big 3 reasons why they worked so well. They exceeded the expectations set by low standards, they chose specific traits that women like, and they mimic women. But I think right about now is a good time for a break. Let's take like a 30-second breather to get up and stretch. Now, we have been talking about why performative males were apparently moving like Prime King Vaughn before the patch notes.
He was a feminist book club member who read performative literature.
But let's go back to reality for a second. Clearly, something went awry. Performative males went from being a niche male archetype to a laughingstock, even to many women.
What happened? Did balls drop off?
Well, we're gonna do a deep dive why they're no longer as effective. Performative men are not actually what women want. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. All these traits that we've been discussing, especially the tangible ones, the drinks, the clothes, the reading books, the virtue signaling, these things are really just surface traits. They're tangible markers that hint at something underneath that is actually what a woman wants. Women don't want someone who knows every line in Infinite Jest or knows Atomic Habits by heart. They want someone who is well-read, open-minded, and educated. Not all women want someone who wears circle rim glasses and crop tops. They just want someone who is mindful about their clothing. Not all women want someone who says kill all men and is an expert on Sylvia Plath, and maybe not even someone who takes their side all the time in the gender war. They want someone who truly, and I mean truly, is willing to understand the female experience and shows that they can make it better for them. And this is why this kind of performative man will never win. Because if performing is all you do, you'll never be able to set the groundwork for a genuine connection.
Oh, you think feminism is your ally? You merely adopted your views. I believe in it. I fight for it. Feminism betrays you because you are lying.
So we have been dissecting the performative male on our little autopsy table for quite a while now. But we're not done yet. But we are almost done, I promise. You won't have to put up much longer with my punchy editing or my half-assed Bane impression. What can be gleaned from the findings?
Well, congratulations. Now we know all this shit. Now what's the next step for the performative male?
Fixing the dating pool.
The conclusion that I have personally drawn is that they are going to do more good than bad. Now, obviously, there are drawbacks like the manipulation. that sucks. And the misandry is also not awesome. However, looking back at our trait spectrum, one of the biggest reasons why they worked in the first place was that even if a lot of them were lying, performative men paid attention to what women wanted. They actually listened. Ignoring what women want because you don't want to seem performative is such a stupid notion. And a lot of the traits that performative men learned by listening
are actually good. Like, call me crazy, but I feel like it's not a bad idea to maybe learn how to wear clothes beyond t-shirts and a pair of shorts. I don't think it's a bad idea to be kind, to have empathy and show emotion. And like, I don't want to like scare anybody off here. Feminism. And that word I know has been absolutely misconstrued and twisted, but if we're really looking at it on paper, supporting women is not a bad thing. It's just basic good human shit. Now, I'm not saying that an ideal male partner only has these traits. You need this shit as well. You definitely need this shit. You need a lot of it. But having this shit does not hurt, okay?
And men are so afraid of looking like little bitches
That we would rather be assholes
than admit that it's okay to listen to women. No, I refuse. That is performative, and I'm not a little bitch.
No. You're a misogynist.
I think performative males,
as we currently know them, will probably die out and become less common. But my hope is that being performative as an aspect of relationships will become common once again. And that's a good thing, because performing is how you attract a person in the first place. For anybody, not just men. Performance doesn't actually mean lying. You're always performing. It's weird that any sort of self-expression could ever be considered non-performative. And if you have to lie to be excellent, or you have to lie to be a good person, then maybe you need to look inside before you start looking for your other half. So, men, go out there and perform. Present yourself in a way that raises the standard. It's good for society and for the individual. Open your mind. Take a couple pages from the Performative Male Handbook, even if you have to burn them afterwards. Learn about the world from a woman's perspective. Be politically informed. Put on a nicer shirt. Be okay with showing your emotions. And don't be an asshole.
and you might say, well, what if
someone calls me performative? What do I do then? Well, are you lying? What are you?
I support women, and I wear nice clothes.
You're performative.
I am necessary performance.
No.